Guys, in case you can't tell, I have literally just landed back in Sydney, come straight to the buy round to record this message, and what I would give for a body protection like NordVPN. Maybe the hair wouldn't be all over the place, the clothes feeling dirty. But thankfully, thanks to NordVPN, I don't have these issues with my technology, my tablet, my phone, my laptop when I am overseas and traveling abroad. What a lifesaver it is when you are overseas and you are dealing with banking issues here in Australia. Maybe you want to watch a bit of NRL. We know the Pacific Championships are on. Well, all I needed to do, bang my NordVPN on, switch my location to Australia, especially for banking. But, you know, I do like my rugby league as well. So that was super important. You know, these dodgy cafe Wi-Fis, the hotel Wi-Fis, can they be trusted? Well, NordVPN takes care of all that for you. At NordVPN, they do go above and beyond. You get protection on up to 10 devices. I mean, I don't know quite who needs that. Maybe you share it around with a few friends or family. If you're an individual that's got 10 devices that need protecting, then I've got some questions for you, my friend. Also, little trick for those of you looking at doing some traveling, get on NordVPN, switch your location, check out those compare websites for flights, trains, hotels. You might just save a few quid, dollars, whatever, lira, because I know I just did. I can hear some of you saying now, Jimmy, I live in a little bubble here in Australia. Don't really like to venture too far. You know, maybe one bridge in Sydney, two bridges in Sydney. Definitely not going over to England. Why would I want to go there? It's freezing. I don't know. I don't need a VPN. Well, maybe you do, because it's also got threat protection, blocking viruses, dodgy websites before they get near you, premium cyber security for basically the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Honestly, if you travel or on public Wi-Fi, it is a no-brainer. So to get the very best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/JamesGraham. Our link will also give you 4 free months on the 2-year plan. There is no risk with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Our link is in the podcast notes below. Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Buy Round, where today, post-draw, we crunch the numbers and we're going to rank each team's Premiership chances in numerical order.
From 17 to 1, we're going to work from the bottom and work our way up. I've been really hoping that you introduced the buy round as welcome to another special edition of the buy round, because I feel like when you were away in England, that's how you introed every show.
As a special edition?
Yeah, special edition.
Yeah, well, I kind of picked up on the fact that you don't like me referring to it as a special edition. So I'm gonna save special for real special.
Yeah.
This, guys, if you're tuning in, if you're listening, it's not special.
It's not a special.
It's just a normal episode of the buy round.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm very critical of people who, in their, their common phrases, I'm busy. It's like, no. You busy. If you're busy is normal, then you're not busy.
You're normal.
You've just got a lot on. But for me, busy should be used. I reckon you're allowed to use busy once a month. 1 day a month for exceptional circumstances.
Yeah.
For example, when you've got a lot on
Yeah.
and you are actually busy, but just having a normal life and just doing like an usual schedule, you can't say you're busy.
It's all relative as well. Like if you live a very cruisy life, then if you have like a couple things on, things can feel busy. But if you live like Elon Musk's life, I'm sure like he's busy constantly. Like you're a bit like, you're always busy, but I feel like you just can't settle. You have to be doing something, onto your next thing.
Yeah. That is quite a. I don't know if it's a bad habit or a bad trait, but
it's a sign of an unsettled nervous system.
but it served me well just being like I can't sit still.
Yeah.
I've got stimulation issues. I've realised this.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about your psychology.
No, we're not
that.
We actually do have a very special edition of the Buy Round coming out in December, where we talk about all my issues, both physically, mentally.
Are we going to get a real psychologist in to sit alongside you? Because if it's me, I know Michael Chammas and I back in the day went deep inside your psychology when we did the biggest stories of the decade.
Yeah.
But do you need me to go inside your brain? Or
I think you're better.
It's a safe face. Yeah.
But just to switch gears and go back to the draw, season 2026. Now, I've looked at these teams, and I reckon there's a genuine 14 from 17 teams that can and would be aspiring to play finals. Like, realistically, when the coach is having the conversation with the board, when they're having the conversation with the players, when they're coming up with their team season goals, I reckon and obviously some will have higher aspirations than to just make the 8, but as a bare minimum, I've got 14 sides in there, which when it's genuine as well, and obviously 14 doesn't go into 8, there's going to be some massive amounts of pressure coming on because teams will under-deliver.
I think you're being generous with 14. Because I'm looking at, obviously, they've got the list of all teams here in front of me. I reckon there's, maybe 13 teams. So maybe not that. It's not that big a difference. But I've got.
Wow. You've really. I
don't think the Titans, the Dragons, the Knights, the Tigers can make the 8.
See, I've got 3 of those 4, but we'll save that.
Okay.
And I think I've got 6 teams that I think can win it, like genuinely can win it. And then I'm looking back to last season, and Canberra literally came from nowhere. Like, nobody predicted it. It was incredible, the meteoric rise of the Canberra Raiders. And really, when we look back at last year, they had Brisbane beat. And I think if they win that game, I think we're looking at different winners of the 2025 Premiership.
It could end up being one of the biggest sliding doors moments in NRL history. If Canberra win that competition, let's just imagine that Payne Haas does go to R360. If he doesn't win that Premiership, the Broncos, does he leave? Does he leave the NRL? Like, there was so much to it. Like, Ricky Stewart, how big it would have been for him, how big it would have been for someone like Jamal Fogarty, who's now gone to Manly. Does he ever get back to that stage again with Manly? Who knows? There's so many, like, Reece Walsh's legacy. Where's that at if they don't come on and win that game? Because now we all put Reece Walsh on as the pin-up boy of the NRL, as the absolute star player of the NRL.
Clive Churchill winner.
Yeah.
By a mile. By a mile as well, and deservedly so. But he was probably fortunate to get that opportunity because of the Raiders. And we obviously are going to talk about Brisbane a bit later, but for the Raiders, speaking of the Broncos, it's going to be interesting to see which way this goes, because I think most people would say they overachieved last year. I thought this year we would see vast improvements with, especially the young halves pairing Ethan Strange and I believe it will be Sanders, although they've just signed from the Broncos. Is it
Kobe Black? But that might be for 27. Not guaranteed he's going to be there for 26 yet.
So, but I think most people had higher hopes for Raiders this year than they did last year. But the mental torment of watching that grand final thing, that really should be us there.
Yeah.
Will it have the same effect that it had on the Broncos from 23 when they should have won, and we all know what happened in 24 to them. Without jumping ahead to when we preview the Canberra or we look at where the Raiders sit on this prediction, like how much is that going to affect them? It's a huge challenge for Ricky Stewart, because I think now he knows I've got the players to do it, but just what are the scars like from last season? Yeah.
I've spoken to an NRL coach once, a former NRL coach. Now he's gone over to England. But he said that the NRL draw is the most corrupt thing in existence in the NRL. He thinks it's corrupt, it's not fair. Certain teams get favours. I know the Canberra Raiders CEO Don Furner's come out this week and said that the Broncos have been heavily favoured again. And they are heavily favoured, the Broncos. And that's because they're the biggest pool for for the television broadcasters, they want Broncos on a Friday night on prime time, and they end up getting a lot of Friday night games, and that's a huge advantage over the season.
Yes, it is. But again, I think there are a few things that, the Magic Round home fixture is just silly. But then they play the Dolphins at Suncorp as well. So that adds in their favour. Wouldn't be too dissimilar to Parramatta that get to play Penrith at Combank, Tigers at Combank. Like they get Dogs at. Yeah.
Well, all the Sydney teams staying in Sydney get that advantage. So playing at Suncorp, it's an advantage. But more about the slot, and you can, because if you get that same slot, you can really build your weeks
and the routine stays the same pretty much.
Exactly.
So.
But basically, what you're doing today is you're ranking the teams, you said, from 1 to 17 Premiership in terms of Premiership chances. And the reason we've done it this week is because the draw has changed some of those views that you had.
Yes,
because it is such an important part of the season. But let's go. Let's start with the team most unlikely to win the Premiership in 2026.
Unfortunately, this I'm going to have to go with the Gold Coast Titans.
Okay.
I think they are the most unlikely because of the noise around their star players. Yes, they have a new coach coming in, and I envisage improvement, but they've got a lot of distractions happening. Keanu Keeney's massive that he's fit and he's going to be back, and obviously Tino will be surrounded by noise, and until that is finalised, I think it is going to be difficult for the Titans to mount a challenge to actually go and win the Premiership. But then that said, a lot of people had give or take the same roster minus Fafita and Khan Pereira in the 8 last year. So, look, I get that school of thought, but fundamentally I've got them right down near the bottom. I do think the future is looking bright. It's no coincidence some of the sharpest minds in the game have invested, and they're not giving to the Titans as charity. They see a much more profitable financial future, and also that would suggest results on the field and more north up the table. But I just think they'd be the last team that I could see winning it.
Is that also because of their spine and who's going to actually play where? Obviously, they've lost 4 now this year, but this idea that they've probably got 3 fullbacks.
Yeah.
Jaden Campbell, AJ Brimson, and Keanu Kinney. You could argue all 3 of them, their best position is fullback.
Well, no, there's no argument. That is a fact. That is a fact. And, let's flip and go, at places like the Melbourne Storm, like last year, people like Jonah Pezzett, Suafar-Longo can accept why they're not in the team, or Wishart can accept that I'm a 14 here because, I've got players clearly in front of me and they're up near the top of the table. But if you know that your best position is fullback and you're coming down near the bottom of the ladder, then you're looking going, well, when am I going to get a chance? Like, it's easier to accept playing out a position in the centre, like many fullbacks do for State of Origin. They play in the centres because they go, well, we've got player X at the back that I'm going to be here. I'm happy with that. I'm here to win a game, and it's a short series. But when it's a season by season, if you're looking at the back and thinking, well, geez, we're not getting wins with him there. Why doesn't he play in the centres? Why am I the 4 guy playing 7 or 3 or 4? I should be playing 1.
Yeah.
And look, I just obviously at time of recording, big bid for Jaden Campbell to go to Perth, which would be amazing for him. How much does he want to stay at the Titans because of his the legacy with his father? But and obviously the other one is Tina, where you go, is he going to stay? That's a big question mark. So with all this bubbling away and with the new coach, rookie coach in Hannay, I think it's hard to see them winning it. And with that rookie coach, he knows he's got some runway there.
Yeah.
He knows he's got a bit of time to implement some team ethos, some team foundations, some team's non-negotiables, some team values.
Yeah. The other thing that could sort of linger over the Titans through the season is this Craig Bellamy clause that's in Josh Hannay's contract, which is really bizarre. Let's just, keep our powder dry on that, but that could be a story that develops over the year.
I think it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to go away, Charlie.
No, it's such a bizarre thing. I don't know why Josh Hannay would put that in his contract or allow it to be in his contract. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This isn't your wooden spoon prediction, by the way.
No,
you're not putting Titans
no.
for the spoon. Just least likely to win the comp. Number 16.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Newcastle come next. Again, another team with a new coach. Obviously, before the Pacific Championships, maybe they'd have been near the bottom. Dylan Brown will be on the shortlist, I believe, for the Golden Boot. He was that good. He was that influential. But I just feel Newcastle losing Leo Thompson, who granted didn't have an amazing season last year, but I just think the Knights have got some real work to do. Real work to do.
Yeah.
And I think, again, they're another side that are probably looking at building foundations as opposed to looking to win premierships as it currently stands.
Going to Vegas is not ideal either as preparation with a new coach. It's going to be a big distraction for them. But on the same token, we saw that last year, this idea around going to Vegas not being good for your season is kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, Penrith,
Sharks, Raiders, and Warriors all had great years.
Yeah, all played finals.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Their recruitment outside of Dylan Brown, they're in the middle. It does feel like
a bit light.
Could be. I don't want to say the weakest forward pack in the competition, but it could
just
be
a bit light.
Yeah, just a bit compared to the other teams in the NRL.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
16th. Who you've got 15th?
Unfortunately, one of my former clubs, the Dragons. I just, worry about creativity. Like we saw last year, I don't know if they've got enough points in them to win the Premiership. I think with Coach Flanagan, they're going to be. He's laid some foundations. It was funny in assessment of last year. They got a pass mark, but then they didn't finish particularly glowing when it comes to spot on the ladder. But I just can't see with the players that they've got at their disposal becoming a premiership threat. But that said, is this the Canberra Raiders in disguise? That's what it has the potential to be, where we all go, whoa, this young forward pack go gangbusters, and then Atkinson shoots the light out, King Tonga, Flanagan at 14, Cook back to his best, Gutho bringing all the leadership, Val Holmes in good form. This is what Coach Flanagan will be aiming to do, but I just think the degree of difficulty with the evidence that has been presented to me so far with the roster that they have, I just think it. Again, they're down near the bottom in terms of playoffs and when it comes to lifting the trophy.
They'd probably be my prediction for the spoon if I had to make up the Dragons. However, that young forward pack is super exciting.
It is, but I can't imagine Flanagan letting that happen. They're going to be too good defensively. They're going to have too much grit for that to happen. I think I can't see the Dragons being one of those teams that go on massive runs of consecutive defeats or not in contests. Let's not forget last year, Charlie. That I can't recall off the top of my head the stats around games they lost by 6 points or less.
Oh yeah, it was insane.
So
they had 3 games they lost by a point.
Yeah, they are the foundations for. We're not that far away here.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
We're not that far away. So that's the type of coach that Flanagan is. So they're going to be, I think, in enough contests. But the gulf between the Dragons and some of the big dogs is just too great.
Do you think Jacob Little's their best hooker?
I think they look their best when him and Cook are on the field at the same
together.
time. Yeah.
I really like Jacob Little.
Mate, me too.
really
I think, like I say, when him and Cook are on at that 20-minute mark, they look their most dangerous.
Yeah. Who's next on the list then, Jimmy?
This is where we go into that 14 teams that are going to play or have the potential to play finals. And I've probably got this next group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are all about par, and for a number of different reasons. But the team at the bottom of this, in terms of like Premiership chances, I am going to. There is a Bugs genitalia between these sides when it comes to Premiership. Tigers.
Yeah.
So
their draw is the 4th hardest based on strength of schedule.
That is why they're at the sort of bottom end of this, is that they do have a difficult draw, but they do have big chunks where they're at home, in Sydney for long periods of time. I think
they've got a soft draw also to start the season, but then they have a middle patch where it's basically all the big dogs week after week after week. So if they don't start strong, it's going to be a really long season for them.
Yeah, I've looked at that, and I guess that I'm not going to say it's a favourable start to the season against a lot of teams that most people would predict to be at the bottom end, or they need a few things to go right for them. I think with the Tigers this year, really interesting, because I think the outside pressure is going to come because expectation now is really high. They've proved they can mix it. I think the acquisition of Taylor May is huge on a relative. They're going to get a lot of value for money from him. But I think with the Tigers, and look, people can argue whether this is right or wrong. They were not a destination club. They were not a sought after club, and that was largely there was some off field reasons for that, but a lot of that was on field. So if you're a coach in waiting, I know numerous coaches had that opportunity to take that role, were offered the job, and they knocked it back for both on and off field reasons. Well, they seem to have their house in order away from the field, and they've assembled a roster that would be attractive for coaches. Now, one of the unintended consequences of assembling a roster like that is other coaches or out-of-work coaches may just start to maneuver for that position. And this is probably going to be, another learning curve for Benji, because he has this roster that he's assembled. A lot of them are playing for him. That is clear. That is visible. The response to losing Galvin and De Silva really seemed to bring this team together. But now they have this extra pressure of there is going to be people, if they don't start well, like you say, start to put the feelers out to the power brokers that be and say, I'd be interested.
I couldn't disagree with you more though about Benji. I feel like the signs of the cohesion with the playing group, all of them playing for him.
Yeah.
I think if they have a bad year, it would be his assistant coaches that get looked at, and they bring in stronger assistant coaches alongside him. I just think he's shown that he's got this group connected, and that, which is incredibly hard to do at a club like the West Tigers, to get everyone together, especially when they're struggling. I think even if they have a really poor year, Benji will be safe.
Oh, look, I'm not necessarily saying he wouldn't be safe, but I'm saying that there's going to be extra noise. There's extra pressure.
Yeah,
but do
you reckon that's fair?
Well, coaching's not fair.
Yeah.
Media's not fair.
Yeah.
We know that it won't be long until someone that knows someone in the media will be going, put some pressure on Benji because their man will be willing to take over.
Well, off mic, behind the scenes, you do hear a little bit of Willie Peters and Shane Richardson have a great relationship and all that jazz. But I feel like Tigers fans love Benji, and they will throw a riot even if they nearly get the spoon, the Tigers, and then they lose Benji as coach. I feel like he's got enough
enough runway.
Not only because of the legend he is as a player, but then the positive signs that have been shown and all the players sticking up for him. And
undoubtedly, Charlie, you are right there. But I think this is the new added layer.
Yeah.
Where, right, let's get everyone together. We've got this. Oh, actually, we look good.
Yeah.
Now we've got to go out there and do it each and every week.
Yeah.
And again, look, I think they've got a really good roster, but in terms of like winning the Premiership, again, we point to the example of the Raiders that many people could have a strong argument to say they can't, like, shot out of a cannon, came from nowhere. Can that be the Tigers of this year? It's incredibly hard to do without that level of experience as a team being in and around those big games. If the Tigers, again, an added layer of pressure that would come in September when a lot of that team is in new territory.
Who's 13th then?
13th is Parramatta.
Bringing in Pezzett, potentially another sign to come with the Zach Lomax money. Positives. They were the form team to finish the comp.
Yeah, they were. And again, probably not too dissimilar to the Tigers, where they go, like, if they do make finals, like, it's a lot of new territory for a lot of those players. And I'm still not convinced allowing Zach Lomax to go is the right call. And we can put people in boxes in terms of positions that they play and what that contract should look like for a player in that position. Top 3 wingers in the world, like top 3 wingers NRL, what they should get, whether one gets 80% of the total money allocated for a starting winger and the other one gets 20. We can debate that, but fundamentally, Zach Lomax affected the result. And he affects results for New South Wales. He affects results for the Dragons when he was playing on the wing. He didn't kick stones. He played a bit of centre, back on the wing for the Eels. Talked that he didn't want to be there, but he didn't want to be there at the Dragons either, so he made that work. And then there's a bit of an unknown there. And let's not forget, Zach's backfield carries were incredible. Like, he went looking for, I think was there a game where he nearly had 30 runs from the backfield. Like, with Addo-Carr, he's more of a finisher than a backfield carrier. And I think when I look at the importance of, we're in the game of scoring points and score more points than the opposition, and Josh Addo-Carr will bring that given the opportunity. But Zach Lomax did so much graft for that side. Yeah, he'd chase kicks and he'd chase lost causes, but he did so much out of the backfield. Like, who's going to put their hand up to replace that? They don't really have anybody there that I go from their back 3 that can bend a line back and get a quick play of the ball.
But they do have a decent roster though, in terms of they've got obviously Penasini's a great outside backer playing the centres. They've got the young Josh Papali'i. Do they put him on the wing? He played a few games at wing. Yeah, but he scored in his debut on the wing.
But it's not the same punch that like. So if you've got Fox, and Yongi, or a Russell, or a like, they're not going to be able to bring that same level. And even Papali at full, he's not bringing that much direct punch from his backfield carries. Yeah, and I think teams will look to really isolate that. The thing that gets them out of trouble often with that, if they don't make meters with their backfield or their forwards, they've got the boot of Mitchell Moses, who can save a set in an instant.
And then we've seen Pezzett's kicking game as well. That's an interesting calves combination, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go together. The other one for Parramatta is Jack DeBellin. We've seen Junior Barlow find the fountain of youth the last couple of years. He was incredible last year, and in the Pacific Championships kept that form up. Can Jack DeBellin refine that form that made him an Origin player?
Yeah, I think. Well, if he's in a winning side, then when you're that age as a forward, it's the same really at any age, but it's more impactful. You get old, you lose, you get old quicker. If you win, smile on your face, you're buzzing. Like, it is huge.
Who's 12th?
12th would be Manly.
Manly Seagulls, equal softest draw in the NRL coming into this year, alongside the Warriors and the Cronulla Sharks. Only 5 games against top 4 teams. They play the bottom 4 teams 7 times, bottom 8 teams 14 times. So, you know
what though? I don't think that's a good thing for Manly.
Okay.
I think they need to play hard games.
Okay.
They seem to play better when they play Melbourne. I don't like watching Manly when they should win.
100%.
Genuinely, I reckon Seabold would look at that and go, right, what are we going to do here? Like, I think he'd rather play the tough encounters. Like, nothing speaks more to that than their victory down in Melbourne. Like,
yeah,
if that was a home game against the Dragons, they lose.
And they've beaten Penrith in the last couple of years as well. Like, they seem to get up for those big occasions. They've got those big game players. And maybe that's because they had guys like DCE last year, who's a bit older and gets up for those big games. Tom Trbojevic, an aging forward pack.
Yeah, maybe. I don't, and even that, like, when it's hard as a player to ignore all the stuff around the draw, and when it's pressure to come and get the quote unquote easiest draw.
Yeah.
Like Sharks, Warriors, Seagulls. They're under pressure because they've got the quote unquote easiest.
We need to look into the Sharks draw and how every single year they get the softest draw. There's something fishy about it. I don't know if it's because they're a smaller club. We've got a Sharks jersey here behind us. I don't know if it's because they're a smaller club. They're not seen as box office, so they don't put them against the big dogs as much, but
yeah,
it's every year. It's every year they get the least games against the top 8 teams, basically, it feels like.
With Manly as well, I think Coach Seabold really needs to make a strong call on what his strongest backline looks like. And by that I mean what number Tommy Trbojevic plays in. I would be of the opinion hybrid centre.
Joe Manu style, roaming around.
Yeah, give him license. We've probably not seen it since that State of Origin.
Yeah.
But I think there's an evolvement of the game, and we see some centres like swing over really late. We've seen Stephen Crichton position himself in that fullback role. I think there's a chunk of time that in a pre-season we'll see a number of centres really start to fine-tune that hybrid role and become almost a second fullback.
Yeah. Jamal Fogarty slots in for DCE
I think
as
that's
well.
Good, steady head.
Kobe Hetherington, good signing.
Very, very good. Like, he was very, you shouldn't say underrated, but his contribution to Brisbane in the final series was exceptional.
The tough thing for Manly, and get along with, I really like Anthony Seibold. He's obviously been part of the round table. He's a great man, great coach, done everything in the game. The issue, though, for Manly is if they come 12th, he probably doesn't survive that, I don't think.
Yeah, I think if they're the 12th, again, this is like, 12th most likely team to win the Premiership. Yeah. But that doesn't mean they're going to finish 12th.
But there's going to be pressure on him, and that could create, that can make things harder as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And going on to the team in 11th, there is no more pressure to start a season well than Cowboys.
Yeah. Toddy Payton, 10 games, Michael Chalmers has told us on a previous podcast he's got to save his coaching career. They've obviously got a stacked roster, Jimmy.
They do. Like that, and that's the thing with the Cows. Like, they are so talented on paper, but at times their defense was, beyond poor. But the start of the season, nights away
in Las Vegas.
Yep. Sorry, yeah. So Vegas come back. They play the Tigers in Sydney
at Leichhardt Oval as well, which is that's the hardest place to play the Tigers, at Leichhardt Oval.
Then they play the Titans at home. So it's there for the Cows to go 3-0.
Yeah.
to start with 3 wins.
And if it's 0-3, it's panic stations.
Well, then they play Melbourne at home, Dragons away, Broncos away, Manly at home, Sharks at home, Dogs away, Power at home. So I reckon that's look, there's some tough games in there, but there's some very, very winnable games as well.
Yeah.
Very winnable. So when Chammy's talking about, what, 7 rounds? Did you say 7?
He said 10.
10.
Yeah.
10 rounds there. Like, you got to be picking up 6.
Yeah. Minimum. 5 and 5. 5 and 5 with the teams they're playing is just not going to be good enough, I don't think.
Well, if they're going to play finals, I reckon you've got to get 6 wins there.
Yeah.
At least.
They, for me, were the most disappointing team last year as well. I reckon our 11th is a fair place to have them.
Yeah,
Obviously, Helam Lukey. I think we've said this every single year on this podcast for the last 3 years, however long the show's been going. If Helam Lukey can play a full season, he could be one of the best back rowers in the competition. I just pray that he stays fit.
A bigger Sonny Bill almost, isn't he? Like,
I just hope he stays
maybe
fit.
He's not at that level, but he's got all the attributes.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Cows, they're just outside of that. This next crop of 2, 4, 6, 8 teams that I've got clustered together, they are just outside it. But it's only going it shouldn't be long until they catapult because of the roster.
Yeah. Obviously, lose Reece Robson, Reed Marnie comes in, a bit of muchness.
Yeah, I'm not. I think if you're the Cowboys, you're probably thinking that gives us a bit, like Reece, brilliant with what he does, but you tap into Reed Marnie and bring us something in defence. That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
Bring us some grit.
Well, that's what they've been missing, that chip on their shoulder. Like, he's going to come there with a point to prove as well, with everything that happened to the Bulldogs, with Lockie Gavin changing the whole spine of the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs halfway through the season.
But
he's going to come with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, well, I think, and that's great. That's exactly what.
Because you know how we talk about the Gold Coast Titans and life's too good? It's a cruisy town. Well, like, Townsville's way cruisier than the Gold Coast. Like, you've got, they play a lot of golf. They've got beautiful scenery. The weather's always warm.
I think life's a bit tougher there because of the extreme conditions where they genuinely have
swimming pools because rent's cheaper. So
but they all have to, the structure of a pre-season is significantly different. But again,
incredibly tough.
Like, it's a tough place to go, Townsville. So I think you use that as a focus point. Yeah. And you've got a huge community, like a huge community. When you think of, they probably don't have that local support, but in terms of like admiration from their fans that drive 4 or 5 hours to get to home games, like, you got to feel that love.
Absolutely,
you've got to feel that love from the energy that they bring. And like I say, they're not far from, like, you wouldn't be jaw on the floor if they're top 4.
No,
because of the roster that they have.
100%. They got the Queensland starting 7. They've got Ruben Cotter, who's an Australian player. They've got a gun team.
Yeah, Lukey, Tamalolo.
Yeah. Murray Talangi's an Origin player.
Bateman,
Scott Dribble is a fantastic
Drinkwater,
player. Marnie. Like, we could keep going and going. That team's that good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, who's next? Who's 10th?
I've got the Warriors in the 10th most likely team to win the Premiership.
Cue the Jimmy hates the Warriors comments.
Yeah, well, again, they are the... I had to put this in order, but there's 8 teams in this next block.
Yep.
And I've just put the Warriors there. They go under the radar a little bit. They've got a good draw. They make their home ground a fortress. The injury gods were shocking to them last year. You'd assume that that's not going to happen again. But yeah, I deliberated about whether they should be above the Sharks and above Souths for like lifting it. But yeah, someone's going to go there in 10th.
Is this just because maybe they're missing a couple of pieces to be like a true contender, whereas the Bunnies and those teams, they've got those big game players. Like, their spine is, Luke Metcalf seems like a great player, but still relatively inexperienced in finals footy.
That's really where I look at it and go, well, your spine players, Metcalf, great, but when it comes to September, which one of those is going to really get it? Like we saw Fisher Harris, like bring plenty of action, but respectfully speaking, he's a middle forward. You're going to need those moments of brilliance, and when you compare them with, the teams above them that are going to be spoken about in a moment, that they'd be, I'd say, bottom for that spark, X factor, like, wow, he can break a game open.
With the Warriors, obviously Mitch Barnett will be fit.
Yeah.
They've got two elite front rowers. That's where they can sort of match with anyone. They've also, they've signings, nothing really much of note in terms of signings. They got Cam Pereira coming in.
Mind you, when I talk about X factor, Halasimi's pretty good.
Halasimi, you almost forget about him. Forget about him.
Mate, he's a...
See, I think the Warriors can make the top 4.
I know,
but I don't think they'll win the competition. So I don't hate the placement of them as the 10th most likely to win the comp.
This isn't. They're going to finish 10th. I just got them as 10th most likely.
Yeah. Who's 9th?
And maybe for the Warriors, the ease of the draw propels them up the table.
Yeah.
Because you're not really going to be affected by, They
have 5 games against top 4 teams.
Yeah.
And they play the bottom 8 teams 14 times. And they play the bottom 4 teams 7 times.
Yeah. So, look, it's a decent enough schedule for them to just acquire points and get into that top 4. And then home semi,
Yeah.
But I just think if they're one of this next crop of teams to make the top 4, I just think they're probably lacking that huge X factor, so that's why they're 10th. I don't think they'll finish 10th.
Yeah, and also you just said you've got a group of 8 teams in this bracket as well, so 10th to 3rd is all very close to each other. Who's 9th?
Sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just with the Sharks, I mean, great draw, no origin. I think Brayley can not add to his game, but other players can add to his game.
Shall we just say what we're sort of dancing around? The ultimate September pretenders, the Cronulla Sharks.
I think again they've got. I think in Brayley they've still got improvement in how they play with him and how they use him and how other players use him. That's what I think. I really do. We've got people like Kale Iro that I don't know if we've seen the absolute best of just yet. Obviously, Nico, when he plays at his absolute potential, and his capacity, which he probably hasn't done the last year, I think that would be a fair assessment.
But mate, the last 2 years they've made prelim finals.
Yeah,
but they haven't looked anywhere near the teams that have made the grand final.
And that's why they are where they are, because they probably are lacking that bit of X factor. I think we'll see some roster movement from them though. I think we're going to have to. I think they're oversupply of the forwards. Who's going to rise to the top of that?
Yeah, they've only got Will Kennedy for another year, and it's looking hard. Like they already had the squeeze on from a salary cap perspective. So,
but again, they play their best when Brayley gets out of dummy half and they're flooding the middle. And I still think the penny is yet to drop with a few of their players. I think they sometimes sit a little bit back waiting for the next play, and then Fanua Blake will go, quick play the ball. Brayley's out and he's looking. I think that the Sharks defend well enough. I think they'll be looking at ways, okay, well, Fanua Blake's going to get us quick play the balls. Rudolph's going to get us quick play the balls. Britton Nikora is going to get us quick play the balls. T. Wilton's going to get us quick play the balls. Cam McInnes is definitely going to get us quick play the balls. But why are we waiting? That would be a style of play that I think could help the Sharks, and they did it. They just didn't do it for enough of the season.
Yeah, and they just didn't have enough to get over the hump again.
That moment of absolute brilliance is
still just missing a little bit. Yeah. Who is number 8?
South
Sydney Rabbitohs. Yeah. See, they could get the spoon. They could get the top 4. It's a really hard team to work out.
And that's it. They're so complex, and they're so almost different now to what other teams look like. Like, they've gone all in on. We're bringing Fafita. They're not looking to dial that down. They're looking for this style to add to, and they're a team that if they get hot, you will not stop.
Yeah,
like you keep kicking off to this team, and they'll just line breaks galore. Like, I think they have that. They can have it, and if they get hot, they'll have swagger.
Absolutely.
Like, Brandon Smith is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks away from being the most lovable guy in the NRL, the most likable guy in the NRL again. Like, everybody's going to want a piece of him. They're going to, he'll be talked about as the saviour of Souths. You've obviously got David Fafita that brings beyond X Factor. You've got that left edge with Cody. You've got Cam Murray coming back in that he's going to have to do all of that sweep up work and look after those other players in and around the middle. The distraction of Lewis Dodd has now gone.
Growth of Tallis Duncan.
So look, what they've got is huge amounts of X factor. So if they get hot, you can see them winning it. And let's not forget who they got as their coach.
Yeah, of course.
People say, oh, it's been however many years. It's like, well, yeah, but he's taken some teams pretty close and have been bloody unlucky. When you think of the Broncos in 15, you think of Souths in 2021.
2021, yeah.
Like, there's fine margins.
Yeah, like, it is. I think you frame them as the bad boys bunnies this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like, it's a group of guys who, some of them have been pushed out of their clubs. A lot of them have had sort of things that have not gone perfectly during their career. And Wayne Bennett's the perfect man to just get all these guys together and get them firing at their best and get them all feeling loved. You could see the difference in Cheese when he was in here, leaving the Roosters and going to South Sydney, and how his eyes just more excited about rugby league again, going to the Rabbitohs. And
Wayne shows his players love, and he treats them like adults. And that's not to say others don't, but that's a big attribute of Wayne, and very trusting of his players, gets a lot of buy-in.
And he loves the bad boys, doesn't he? He sits at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
He wants to hear about all the stories of what's going on, and,
And you need a lot of the time, you need a little bit of crazy in there.
Yeah. And that's why he's probably perfect for guys like Cheese and Fafita and Latrell.
And let's not forget, South Sydney last year, their injuries were horrendous. And you've got to imagine that has been addressed.
Yeah.
And they'll be looking to do everything they can to significantly reduce that, because it was too many to be purely unlucky.
Yeah. We spoke about the dilemma for Seabolt. Bit of a dilemma as well around Jai Gray and Latrell Mitchell. And do you put Latrell in the centres and just let him be a destructive force in the centres and have Jai Gray be the fullback? And
have that hybrid role.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't think Manly are the only one that'll experiment with the hybrid centre.
Yeah.
And I actually think when you look at the position of centre, not that long ago, many of our viewers will be able to remember the days of inside-outside centre. And it is a relatively new... That was the case more often than what it is left and right centre in terms of rugby league history. So... are we looking at a changing of how the game is played in attack? Like, I think defensively we'll still see that structure of left centre, right centre, but then I think there's so much to be gained by having an almost second fullback, and with the six again and the quick rucks and the NRL emphasising speed of the play the ball. Spoke about the Sharks playing out of Brayley. Well, nothing would work better than two fullbacks to come in off the back of that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine from a Manly point of view, a Kohler or a Hopper-Warte hitting him behind. Then next is Tommy Turbo. But if he's over on the right or left centre, if he's holding shape, waiting for the shift, I think we might see a change. And the same with South there, with Jai Gray being that pocket rocket, that energy. Like, he'll have to do a lot of the hard thing, like a lot of the dirty work, and then let Trell come out of the garage and be the Ferrari that he is. Whether that's not holding shape, get him involved everywhere.
He's the best centre in the game, Latrell Mitchell. So why force him to be a fullback? It's just I wonder if Latrell would be happy with playing centre as well. I wonder if he didn't does he really want to be a fullback? I don't know.
I don't know, but we've seen him single-handedly win games for South. I'm thinking back to the Brisbane contest. There was another game where he'd been out for a while. It was at a core, maybe against the Dragons, and he just put his
late in the season. He just put a few tries on. Was it late in the season?
Yeah,
I think it was later in the season. Yeah,
like, it looked like he was like a cheat code on a PlayStation game.
He is a cheat code. He is.
Like every pass, he threw it over. Maybe it was against Manly, I can't remember, but he threw it over a really tall winger. Like, how the hell has he done that?
Yeah,
it's from nowhere, and the way he disguises these, like, he has the ball in a position that usually you can't generate power from, because what it tells the defense is you're only going to be able to pass short because your body is not in a strong enough position to pass. To generate the force for it to go for it to cover any sort of distance, but he can.
He's still young as well, Latrell. Like, he feels like he's been around for forever, but he's still pretty young, like, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
I just hope he's the most misunderstood player probably in the NRL. I just hope he has a few years where he just re-cements himself as one of the top players in the game, which he has in him, and does it for an extended period of time. Because you're like, that Broncos game, my favourite moment of the year probably. The tackle to save the try, then the field goal 45 metres out in the pouring rain. It was just like
Eric Cantona.
Yeah, it was just insane. And
hopefully he talks.
Yeah, because he's arguably my favourite player to watch, Latrell Mitchell, when he's on. Like,
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you. I think I think it's been spoken about. We're in the entertainment industry. Nobody entertains like him.
No, so much swagger. I love everything he does.
He'd be a key reason why Souths could win it.
7th.
Next in this cluster of teams, Roosters, and I am honestly just so intrigued to see how this plays out.
Yeah,
so intrigued.
He's gonna have DCE is gonna have the best forward pack he's played behind in a long time at club level. A long time.
Yeah. But he had a decent forward pack when he was at... I know it's obviously different.
Origin.
Yeah. And for me, that again, speaking of aging, I know what it's like. I know how quickly things change. I think obviously whatever happened at Manly was... He disguised it well, but it would have been upsetting. Like, no doubt about it. Gets a new lease of life, gets to go to a new club, gets to prove himself all over again, gets to feel the love, gets to, prove yourself all over again to new teammates, new fans, new coaches. He'll have that desire. But then the fact that he couldn't find that at Origin, what makes you think 6 months later he can find it at the Roosters? That for me is the ultimate question. But DCE will be heavily motivated to make this work. He knows there's pressure on him, but I'm just so intrigued to see how this goes.
Father Time is unbeaten. There's an NBA player at the moment, Chris Paul, who's very, very old, and he's gone again this year, and he is anywhere near the level. And
I get you.
It can come quickly as well. It can come quickly,
and it's not the same. It's so hard to describe this, but it's almost the fatigue of age. It's the fatigue of the competition. You can recover pretty quick. You can finish the year buggered when you're young, and then you get rest, you come back, you're sweet, but it's almost like you lose the ability to return to your baseline.
Yeah.
And it's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's that baseline gets harder and harder to get to.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by it though. Fascinated. Because really on paper, Jimmy, this Roosters team is as good as anyone on paper. At the fullback, you got James Tedesco, who was incredible last year. Dally M winner by a mile. Wingers, Mark Nwangani-Tawase and
who should get better.
Yeah, and Daniel Tupu on both wings.
Centers Billy Smith
and Robert Toya. Unbelievable.
Again, should get better.
Then you've got in the halves, you've got
Walker and DCE.
Wow. Nafahu White could
Collins.
be the best front rower in the game this year.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe. If Payne Haas goes to 360.
No, still not.
He's up there though. He's an unbelievable player.
I don't disagree.
Then you've got Reece Robson at hooker, who's the State of Origin hooker. Lindsay Collins, as you said. Well, we got Spencer Lenu coming off the bench as well for a little bit of punch. In the back row, we got Angus Crichton and maybe Nat Butcher.
Victor Radley.
Victor Radley might be playing the back row, actually, and they might have someone else at lock.
Yeah, after 5 games, he's back.
Nah, it's less than that because they count the Ashes tests.
Yeah, no, so it's the Ashes and the 2 trials. So he's back. He's available for round 6.
See, I read the article as they'd slashed the suspension from 10 to 5.
Yeah.
Counted the Ashes games, so then he's back round 1.
No.
Okay.
No, he's
all right.
available round 6.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
the 10-game ban is still in effect.
Excessive suspension anyway for him. He's actually technically has done nothing wrong from a legal standpoint. There's no evidence. I think it was so harsh anyway.
Anyway,
sorry for another day.
Yeah.
But mate, that team.
Yeah.
Tell me any team that's better on paper.
Penrith Broncos.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd probably take. The only thing is the Penrith having Nathan Cleary is the big uptick for them, but their forward pack isn't as good as the Roosters. Their back line isn't as good as the Roosters.
I don't know about
that. Yeah,
I don't know. Their systems.
Yeah.
They're a good side, Penrith, mate. No.
But I'm saying on paper, this Roosters team is very, very good.
No, it is. But there's still some. The question mark is who runs the team.
Yeah.
Like Kiwi's left, it's Walker's team. Like, can DCE play second fiddle? Like, maybe that will be best for him. You know, speaking of age, maybe that will be. One thing another interesting factor for the Connor Watson. I really like him.
Yeah.
Like, really like and he's arguably the best 14 in the game, like genuine 14. But yeah, where's he going to enter? Where's he going to enter the field at? Because I don't know if Reece Robson is going to play less than 80 minutes. Is
he that lock? Did you see that ball playing lock role for Connor Watson?
But then where do they fit? You know, those forwards that we've spoken about in.
Yeah. It's tough because Spencer's an impact player. But it's an embarrassment of riches, though.
Yeah.
And if he's not playing hooker, Connor Watson can provide value at lock.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Victor Radley is an edge forward.
But yeah, man, it's tough. But that's a great, it's
a great dilemma to have.
Yeah.
But still, like, the jury's going to. I think everybody will be tuning in to watch the Roosters. Like, that is going to be the hottest ticket in town.
Yeah.
Like, then the first sort of 5-6 games, like, what's going on here?
Incredible jersey they've released with Adidas as well. The Sydney Roosters, a great video filmed at the Royal Hotel. They're actually sending us in some jerseys as well.
Oh, right.
The Roosters guys. So, yeah, cool. Thanks very much for that.
I appreciate it.
But, yeah, they partnered up with Adidas. They look awesome.
Nice.
They look great. Who have you got then up next?
Sixth. Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
Yeah, Dolphins in 6th. I think, like, yet to see the absolute best. I think Katoa is, like, one of the biggest diamonds in the competition, one of the biggest stars in the competition, with a genuine forward pack that can be fit, be healthy, get forward. We're just scratching the surface with the Dolphins. But the fact that, I guess, maybe I should have had the Roosters above them because of the fact that for them to win it, I think it would be huge it would be huge for them to win it based off, the infancy in the competition.
Yeah.
And a fair bit of inexperience in and around what they bring. Also, being up there.
Really positive signs on Flegler. Have you been reading the reports on Flegler?
Really?
Yeah, really positive signs. He's
awesome.
training well. He's making progress in the things he needs to do.
Brilliant.
I hope he's back.
Yeah, Morgan Knowles. NRL fans are gonna like what he brings. If you watch the Ashes, he was flying out the line. He wants to bring action. Him, Plath, Gilbert, Flegler, to name but a couple. Like, that is going to be an awesome forward pack.
Yeah. And I mean, Plath, great to see him back. Gilbert, great to see him back, as you said. Their spine's pretty incredible. The spine's pretty good.
Katoa, Marshall King, Nicarima.
I find it strange they bring George Williams in for 2027.
That is a strange one. Herbie Farmworth again. Another one of those players that we could see and should see, in my opinion, as hybrid.
Yeah. They need to sign him. He's a November 1 guy. So
he signed for a year.
He signed for a year.
Yeah, he did 1 year extension.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
Is a bit fishy.
Well, the talk is that R360 are interested in him, but everyone's sick of us talking about R360 probably.
Of course they would be.
Because we've done 2 full podcasts on it already.
No, we did one. And it is very, very topical.
You know what? That's actually something I want to say. A lot of people in the comments saying we're giving free advertising to R360. It's actually a massive story. And because they don't have a website out doesn't mean it's not a real thing. They've got a lot of players who are looking at it, and it's and the fact that
they're coming for NRL's best, like, you can't just ignore it.
No,
we're going to talk about it, and debate it, and talk about the pros and the cons. Like, it just is happening right now.
Yeah,
and any other year, right? Guy like Lomax and Pappenhausen get released from their contract. We just going, I wonder where they go. Yeah. We're speculating about which NRL, and then if it's not an NRL club, like, man, this is mind-boggling.
Yeah,
it's so new. It's not. No one at home is going, oh, what's NRL 360? Oh, I listened to the buy round. Oh, well, I'm going to tune into that. No, it's just it's. We've never seen the likes before.
Yeah.
People may argue about Super League and all that would trump it. But this is huge.
It's huge. Imagine even if it was just the Wallabies taking Payne Haas, Pappenhausen, and Lomax. That's huge.
Yeah, that'd be
the whole podcast on that. It would be.
And that's unknown. Because it's the unknown. We're all like, what? What's is this? How's it going to work? Where's the money come from? Of course, there's questions to be asked.
Yeah,
and that's why we've talked about it.
Exactly.
But
who's fifth?
Dolphins in sixth. It might surprise you. Storm.
Doesn't surprise me. Losing Pappenhausen, losing Eliesa Katoa for the full season, letting Big Nelson go, Pezzett leaving as that depth during Origin.
Before, if you'd have asked me to do this like mid-October, they'd be in the top 3, and the 2 teams that I've got would be a third, and Melbourne would be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But losing 5 players and 5 like top level players, when you think of Nelson, if he played in 24, I think Storm win. I think he adds to their chances of winning in last year as well.
Well, they were only a pass away from winning. Yeah. Really. If Pappenhausen gets that pass on the inside.
So you got Nelson, you got Pezzett, who makes life so much easier around state of origin and or injuries. You've got obviously the shocking issue of Qatar, one of the best back rows in the comp. Like Melbourne will get salary cap dispensation, but
it's not going to do them much good.
Well, I remember when the no fault stand down policy came in and Dragons got salary cap dispensation to sign someone to cover for Jack DeBellin. I was like, brilliant. Well, are we going to get Jake Teborovich? No. Yeah. All right, well, it's pointless.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to replace him, and especially not for a year. Pappenhausen, then that void gets filled by Suafar Longo, we assume.
Yep.
Which I mean, he could shoot the lights out, but it's still a big if. And then there's one more that they've let go as well.
Pezzett, did you mention him?
Yeah, Nelson, Pezzett, Katoa, Pappenhausen.
They've lost Grant Anderson as
Grant
well.
Anderson, yeah. Who,
serviceable outside
yeah,
back.
yeah. Like, well, again, like banging down the door, probably like a high end outside back that maybe is on the slight fringe of the starting 13, but still big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Like,
you wonder if their window's closing then.
There's never been a bigger, a more. There's never been more pressure on the big three of Melbourne.
Yeah.
There's never been more pressure on the big three. I also think Utoya Kamanu will be a lot better for the majority of the season, where I think he was arguably still finding his feet. I also say had Melbourne differently placed in October, I may be making the same comment come February, March.
Yeah, of course.
I do not like that they've let these. Well, one of them obviously they didn't like factor in, but Nelson, Pezzett, Pappenhausen. What is going on?
Pezzett, they had no choice over.
Yeah,
because he had the
true.
clause in his contract. But I'm with you. They're creating salary cap for what reason?
Yeah, what are they doing there?
Yeah, I think
What
it's
do you
for
got?
Tino. I think it's for Tino.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing though that could hold Tino back is what's happening with Craig Bellamy.
Well, again,
because that's a huge factor. Because I think Craig Bellamy, you know what, if they've got Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, and Cam Munster, they're probably going to be a successful team every year. But
in terms of winning the Premiership, I've probably undersold them there being fifth, because I say the big three, the big four, with Coach Bellamy as well.
Yeah.
So they're probably unfairly treated, and it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to those free agents and that injury to Qatar.
I don't think you want to be the guy getting the role after Bellamy leaves, though. I think Bellamy could potentially have that Sir Alex Ferguson impact, but when he leaves Melbourne,
David Moyes comes in from Everton,
and they struggle for it for a bit, and it's an up and down, and
could be.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who's fourth then, Jimmy.
Dogs.
You've got the Dogs over the Storm. Okay.
Well, I would have had that differently.
Yeah.
I would have had the Storm leapfrog the next two teams.
Yeah.
But due to the news, and especially with Qatar, which obviously our thoughts are with them, and this is beyond football, but we're a football-based show. We're emphasising on the football side of things. So, yeah, I've got the Dogs in fourth. I think, maybe the distractions of last year, put that behind them. Settle on a halves combo. Again, Crichton, another one of these players that has that capability and potential to play as a hybrid centre/fullback. I think Leo Thompson's role is going to really help a lot of those other forwards as well. And for me, the next 24 months is where the Dogs really enter a window.
Okay. Are you worried at all about the spine? And, Lockie Garvin, Matt Burdner, are either of them a 7? Are they both 6s?
You can make a case for that. Yeah, you can make a case for that. But again, like one thing I know about the leadership at that football club is they don't make knee-jerk reactions. They thoroughly plan these things out. So they know what they're doing, and I trust them.
Yeah.
And because I've seen behind the scenes, and I've also seen players that they could have signed and said no to.
Right.
That would have been some low hanging fruit. And like you, why wouldn't you sign that player? Oh, he doesn't fit into our plans. So with Galvin coming in, he fits into the long term plans. Like, he didn't walk in the door and Cam Serraldo go, I don't think he can play 7. Like, he's done his homework.
Yeah.
He's thoroughly gone through this and gone, well, here's how he can fit into our style of play.
Fair enough.
So,
You got him fourth.
he's not shocked by the fact that he's this tall, looks more like a 5'8" than he does a 7.
Yeah.
He's not shocked by that.
Yeah.
He knows that.
Who is number 3?
Raiders. Raiders.
Yep.
And again, the big thing for the Raiders is how they navigate the devastation of last season and how they navigate the noise of, we had it. Like, we beat the Broncos. We were so close. What could have been a favourable injury situation last year. So, yeah. It should, and you can imagine Ricky Stewart really drilling into this, inspiring them and installing belief, especially with the younger players, the younger outside backs, that, guys, you do belong here now. The only thing for the Raiders is they're going to become the hunted.
Yeah.
They are now. Sometimes it can take a year for teams to figure that out, that, oh, the Raiders, these are, they don't treat them like they're a game away from falling off the cliff. They're going to be treated seriously. Still interested. Talk of like DCE at Roosters. I'm intrigued on how the Raiders are going to fit Brayley, Starling, and Owen Patty into the same side. That is Ricky Stewart's problem. I think Owen Patty has got so much potential in him. Starling shot the lights out last year. How those three players all fit in together.
It feels like Brayley would be the odd man out.
You'd assume so.
Yeah. They've got so many. Their forward pack's so strong though. Like Hudson Young, obviously starting for the Kangaroos during the Ashes.
I think he was on pure form alone for 2025, the best back row in the comp.
Yeah,
but on pure form alone, just form for 25.
And then you could argue the same about Tarpany.
Yeah, him or Haas. Not far behind Payne Haas.
Then you got Morgan Smithies. Yeah, you got Corey Horsburgh.
Matty Nicholson, who'll be hopefully injury free again.
Yeah, Tamale's going to get better.
Yeah,
Matt
Sasangi off the bench.
How good was he? He was unbelievable. What about his intercept try in the Pacific Championships as well?
He's a player.
He just finds a way to score tries.
Yeah,
as well.
He is a player.
Yeah, he's a great player. He obviously came in and had to play 5'8" when Ethan Strange was ruled out. And he did a job there. Who's number 2 then?
Number 2 is the Brisbane Broncos.
The Brisbane Broncos 2. So that means you've got... who've got number 1 then? The Panthers. Okay.
So Broncos are number 2. The scary thing about the Broncos is, let's look back at a whole of season for last year. They seemed unsure of themselves at different points, and they lost some games that if they played like they did in the finals, they wouldn't have lost. I think the winning of the grand final, the winning of the games like they did, they'll become more sure of themselves. So, they really should kick on. They really should, wipe the floor with a few of those teams that they lost to last year. Mine goes back to Parramatta at home, when Reece Walsh nearly scored at the end and it got disallowed. But that's a game really that if Brisbane play their final style, Parramatta were all right at that stage, but they battered them. So Brisbane now will be full of confidence in their own ability, even if they go over to England World Cup Challenge and struggle with the travel and navigating that origin period. They've still got enough in them to get hot, and the way the game is trending, it is inviting players like Reece to excel. It's designed for people like him to put on these incredible displays of athletic brilliance.
If they do lose Payne Haas, which is a huge if, how far would they fall down that ladder? That's an unfillable loss. And
Mm.
I know I saw an article from Peter Bedell saying apparently he's told some Brisbane players he's staying.
Yeah.
I think you got to take all of this stuff with a grain of salt at the moment, though.
Yeah, and we obviously don't want to talk about that Rebel competition because I think that Willison still can bring more. I've really liked his contribution last year. Obviously got a spot with the Kiwis as well. He's still got more more to give. I feel like there's still more there. He's obviously very young. Maybe Tiakora as well is another one that could help fill that void. Interesting for me, the Broncos. Like, we think back to the back end of last year. Like, it was still a mystery about what their best 6, 7, 9 combo was, and I wonder how Ezra, Hunt, and Reynolds all fit into that piece. Like, and obviously Walters was brilliant at 5'8".
He was, and also
like, that's good. That's good. I'm really fascinated to see who gets the 6-7 jersey.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is obviously they've signed Pezzett for the next year.
Yeah,
there is talk that potentially Adam Reynolds wasn't overly happy with the fact that they signed Pezzett because he maybe had eyes of going not only again this year but the year after as well. So how does Adam Reynolds feel about everything? We'll see. We'll see as the year goes on if that makes a difference.
Yeah, we will see.
But Penrith at number 1, it's funny you put them at number 1 because they've got the hardest draw according to just the strength of schedule stuff that we put together. And they play the top 4 teams, every single top 4 team twice, 13 games against the top 8, and they play every out-of-town team away. So their travel this year is massive. They've got like all the out-of-town teams. So Melbourne, New Zealand, Canberra, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Broncos. They have to travel. Newcastle, they have to travel to these places. So that's going to be huge for them. They even have to go to Darwin to face the Dolphins. So the Dolphins' home games in Darwin. And then, of course, they're one of the teams that actually get into the country footy and do their part. They've got a game in Bathurst, a game in Mudgee. Travel's going to be a big thing for them this year.
Yeah, it is, Charlie. But there are a few things that are different this year. Last year, the Panthers, I think, ran out of juice in the final moments in that game against Broncos, which is very uncharacteristic. I think the main reason for that was Brisbane had the week off the week before. Penrith didn't. They just travelled from New Zealand. You mentioned about travel. But some strange things happened last year to Penrith. They were bottom of the ladder for a stage there. They had pressure on them for a lot of the season, even just make the finals. I don't think we're going to see that again. For the first time in almost half a decade, we're going to see Penrith Panthers enter the competition or start the competition with pretty much the same side that finished it, right? So if they make top 4, I think you're most likely to see them lifting it, and I think they will make the top 4 based off the continuity of the squad. Like, they're not figuring things out anymore. They're not going to have that same dip that they did last year. I think you hope that Edwards gets fully fit. He looked like he was playing like with an injury, carrying an injury.
Yeah.
And I just think that some of the young players are going to get better as well.
Talangi,
McLean, even the young forwards like, you know,
Liam Henry.
Lindsay Smith isn't that old.
Yeah.
Like, I think they've got a bit more in them, and I just think the Panthers, like, maybe normal service will be resumed when the Panthers start the season, and maybe they're, 7-1.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, this time last year they were whatever they
1
were,
and
like
7.
1 and 7, yeah. So and then, if they're top 4 and fresh and get that week off, that's why I've got them as number 1.
Yeah, no, I like it. I can't argue with that. I think that's a fair shout. It's going to be a cracking year.
It is going to be a cracking year. Like I say, so hard to predict who's going to be the Canberra of 2026. Bring it on. It's so exciting.
If you have enjoyed this podcast as well and you want to help support the show, we do have a partnership at the moment with NordVPN.
Yes.
The way the partnership works is it's kind of judged on how many people sign up through our code. So if you go to nordvpn.com/James Graham.
Not the buy round,
not
James
the buy
Graham.
round, James Graham. You can get yourself, obviously, a very special deal from NordVPN. You would have heard the read earlier, but it's a great offer that they've thrown in. So if you're in the market for a VPN,
get involved. And look, it's great value, and it does so much. Obviously, you use it a lot if you travel, but also if you're in and about public Wi-Fi or even just at home using your banking. I know I have it on all the time now, no matter what.
Yeah, I like using it to go on BBC Sport UK and listen to some sports commentary from England as well.
Good on you, Charlie.
From time to time. But yeah, great show, Jimmy. Great list you've put together.
Not a special show.
Not a special
show, but a good show.
Next Sunday, we've got a very special show going. We've got Brent Reed coming in, who's done a deep dive on all the different teams' salary caps.
Yes.
We're going to find out which teams have flexibility and which teams' salary caps are very tight.
Yeah, but flexibility doesn't mean good, and tight salary caps doesn't equal bad.
Not necessarily. You are right, Jimmy.
But looking forward to that one, Charlie.
Good to see you, Matt, as
All
always.
right, take it easy, mate. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you soon.